Imagine waking up, thinking about that all-important morning coffee, and based on your thoughts alone, your coffee machine starts brewing. Or perhaps you start feeling just a little anxious right before a really important work meeting. But your headset responds by quietly adjusting your mood. This isn't science fiction. It's neurotechnology. Neurotechnologies are devices and systems that directly interact with your brain and your nervous system to measure, to monitor, and sometimes to influence its activity. This technology is developing at an astonishing rate, and it offers miraculous possibilities, like brain implants that can restore movement to people with paralysis, or that can give a voice back to those who can't speak. But this technology also creates risks that we've just never had to think about before, because it means that the next frontier of human rights actually lies right inside your minds. Brain data is already being collected, analysed, and in some cases sold. The Peace of Mind report, released just a few weeks ago by the Australian Human Rights Commission, is one of the first in the world to consider this issue and to ask the question, how can we protect our human rights when technology is entering the mind itself? I want you to consider the workplace. And let's picture Mia, a 23-year-old logistics worker who starts every day by arriving at work, popping in her neural earbuds, and noticing that they track and monitor her brain activity right throughout the day. They monitor her attention, her fatigue, her general emotional state. Mia's told that this is for workplace wellbeing and safety. But the data that's collected by the company can also be used to monitor Mia's performance, to adjust her workload, or even to make decisions about whether Mia is promoted or fired. One day, Mia's supervisor comes and pulls her aside, not because she's made a mistake, but because her brain data has showed a dip in attention. She's told to take a break, and she worries. What does this mean for her hours, for her future at the company? This isn't restricted to the workplace. We're quietly seeing neurotechnology start to impact the way that we learn, we play, and we live. In classrooms, wearable headbands have been trialled on children to measure their attention levels throughout the school day. In gaming, brain-controlled devices allow players to control the movement of characters just by thinking. And in our homes, consumer headbands are being sold with the promise of improved mindfulness and better sleep. These uses all have upsides, but they rely on our data being collected and our privacy being impacted. Because of the direct connection between neurotechnology and the brain, one of the biggest challenges is around freedom of thought, the right to think freely without interference, surveillance, or manipulation. Without freedom of thought, events like a TEDx Global Ideas Search simply couldn't exist. But neurotechnologies pose fundamental questions. What happens when your innermost thoughts are no longer yours alone? What happens when your brain becomes just another data stream? This is exactly what happened to Mia, our young logistics worker, who found her every thought, every day being tracked. And her story isn't an episode of Black Mirror. It's happening right now. So what do we do? Governments, tech companies, and each of us as individuals all have a role to play. From government, we need human rights-centred laws laws that protect our neural data, laws that ban neuromarketing, laws that ensure children, people with disability, older people are protected, not exploited. From tech companies, we need human rights-centred designs to be embedded so that when they're developing technology, they don't just ask what can it do, they ask what should it do. For us as individuals, it's a little bit harder because it can sometimes feel as though technology just becomes part of our life and we don't really have a choice. But we do. You can all make choices about how you use neurotechnology, and your choices should consciously prioritise your individual rights and freedoms. So my message here today is simple. Each and every one of us is more than just a data set. We should be embracing the miraculous possibility that is neurotechnology. But we have to do it in a way that remembers to protect what it is that makes us human. Thank you.